Hey guys, Greg by the Bootstraps, b2bootstraps.com. Check out the store, check out the social media, like and subscribe to the videos. It's been an interesting day in military news, and wanted to make a video about it because I have three separate stories that happened, and obviously a big one is the Iran situation. You know, back up to last week, Iran supposedly bombed or let out mines that disabled those two oil tankers, and there was some contradicting information about what happened. They said that they had gone out there, surrounded the ships, essentially took the crews hostage, and then used it as a propaganda to say that they rescued the mariners that were out there. That's still an ongoing story. I don't think all the facts are out for that. I was going to make a video at the time addressing that particular issue, but ultimately decided no, not really, because it didn't involve necessarily the U.S. So I just thought, like, okay, I'll bypass on that one. But then today, or yesterday actually, or sometime between yesterday and today, they shot down a Navy RQ-4, surveillance plane. Thankfully it's a drone, so there's no pilots or anything like that on there. There's no weapons, but supposedly the drone was flying in international waters. Now, what's interesting is that my wife was stationed out at Bill, and her aircraft that she worked with was the RQ-4. I won't say what she did, but she worked on that aircraft, and so she knows pretty intimately, the areas that they surveillance, where they can go, how they can get there, like the ways of which they can fly, and where can they exactly go and still be considered an international territory. And based on her information, and based on what's been reported and what the Navy has actually come out and said, that plane within international territory. And again, this is just basing off of what they said. Now, that's not to say that there's not some more information that they haven't released. We probably won't get the majority of the information, or if we do, it'll be slowly released over time. And that just, I personally can't understand as to what are they getting out of this by doing this? Is it to get us to go back to negotiating tables because Trump pulled out of the the nuclear accord, or the Iran nuclear deal that Obama put in place? I don't know. But I don't think that someone of Trump's caliber, is going to be like Obama and just kind of cower to them. I don't see him putting money in the back of a plane and dropping it off like Obama did. I don't see him going to the the Iranians and wanting to negotiate. If anything, it's going to be retaliation and maybe even more tariffs, maybe more production of oil, and weaken their economy even more. So I just don't, I just can't process as to why would they do that. And if you guys know or have any theories or thoughts, please let me know, because I'm curious to know. The other story that was in the news today was that Eddie Gallagher, the Navy SEAL who supposedly killed the ISIS terrorist, young male boy, 12-year-old ISIS terrorist. He's been proclaiming his innocence now for a while. He was, there's been a whole bunch of back and forth stories, and I posted a couple videos on this, so I'm not going to go into all the details about it, but I've also posted on Facebook some stories that I've read and things like that from Fox News and Breitbart and CNN and MSN and stuff like that. He's even been in Yahoo recently, which kind of surprised me. Of course, they didn't paint the best photo of this guy, and pretty much everything was hearsay, and that the testimony that they were going for, or the information that they had, supposedly came from hearsay. So I kind of took it with a grain of salt, but there was a story, actually a couple stories out in the news today, to include even on Yahoo, that another gentleman, another Navy SEAL, admitted to being the one to kill this ISIS soldier, which I've already said this on a previous video, and I'll say it again. I don't care that an ISIS soldier was killed. I don't care if it was a kid. A kid with a gun with the right mindset and the right mental training can be just as deadly as a 30-year-old with a gun. It makes no difference. Once they decide to pick up arms and shoot at us or try to harm us being like the United States Armed Forces, or us being the United States as a nation, I really don't care if it's a 5-year-old. I don't want to see that, obviously. I would hate to see that, because you'd have to live with that for your life, knowing that that atrocity happened. But when it comes to Do I want to see an American soldier die, or do I want to see some, some terrorist, even if he's young, die? I'm going to go with the terrorist every single time. Sorry. But anyway, this other Navy SEAL came out and admitted in court today that he's the one that, actually killed this kid. Apparently he basically strangled him. They had another word for it, and it's skipping my mind at the moment. But there's been this tale of supposedly Gallagher stabbed this kid in the neck or something like that with a knife. Well, they did a forensics test on the knife for DNA, and they found no DNA on the blade and no DNA in the sheath that the blade was contained in. So unless he stole someone else's knife, which if my memory serves me correct, those guys are pretty territorial when it comes to their weapons of war, whether it be knife, guns, flashlights, backpacks, things like that. I don't think that'd be something that that someone else would hand to him essentially to use. So the evidence is pointing that he's innocent, which is what he said all this time. And again, even if this other Navy SEAL did this, I really don't care. Good job, let them go back to service and continue doing what they're doing, because contrary to what we think over here, over there it's not Candyland. It's very dangerous. And the last story, which I'm actually really glad to see this one. A couple videos ago, well, actually several videos ago, I did. There was a story in the news where this group of people were suing this town in Maryland, I believe it was, because they had erected a large concrete cross, a memorial essentially for World War I veterans, or actually World War I people. There was 49 people in World War I who had died, and so this town, this community, had this memorial erected, and this group of dumbass people tried to come in and say that this was a violation of separation of church and state, and that by this cross being here, that it was promoting a religious mindset. It should have never went to court. It should have never bothered you. It was a memorial for World War I soldiers. Stupidly, the Ninth Circuit actually agreed with them, and they were going to have them take that cross down. Thankfully, the group who owns the cross appealed that, and it ended up making it up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court came down today and said, no, that's ridiculous. Having a memorial is not representation of a religion. It's not the state or the government, because it's not owned by the government, or by the state. It's owned by a third-party affiliation. They said no. They don't have to take it down. It can stay. Hopefully, it doesn't get vandalized like so many other things do, just because people don't like it. Anyway, those are the 3 stories. Comment below, let me know what you guys think. Like I said, if you guys have any idea as to why Iran is doing what they're doing, I'd love to know, because I cannot fathom what in the world they're thinking. I'll talk to you guys later.